Welcome to Santulan Yoga. For today's video, we're taking a look at seated asanas and variations. Sthira, sukham, asanam, a steady, comfortable seat. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. A more literal translation of sthira sukhanam is a resolutely abide in a good space. And this is a great thing to think about when we're on our mats doing our yoga asanas, but it's also a quality that we can take off the mat and into our daily lives. So for today's class, we're literally looking at seated asanas and variations. So we'll need some props, especially if you're a bit tight through the hips, knees, and ankles. So if you have a yoga block, grab at least one, maybe two, depending on your own body. If you don't have a yoga block, another great thing you can have is a book, something like a dictionary or a thesaurus thickness is a really great height to substitute for a yoga block. If you have a meditation cushion is also great. Or you can also use a cushion from your sofa or the pillow from your bed. One of the things that I quite often use in my community classes is I have these split mats, which are a camping mat that I've just chopped in half. And what we'll do, depending on how much height we need, is we can just roll it up to give you a nice thickness. It's also nice and light. If you don't need that much height, you can just fold it in half, or maybe in half again. Just depends on each body as to what you need, and that's one of the great things about yoga is adjusting things to your own body, listening to your own body, and using props and variations of asanas to help you get into that sthira sukham asanam place. All right. So we'll start off with Sukasana, easy pose. So Sukasana, we are coming into either a cross-legged pose, or the other way to do it is to bring one foot in front of the other, coming forward onto the sit bones ever so slightly, and just ensuring that those shins are in contact with the ground. Now, you can either place your hands on top of the knees, hands into the center, with the arms resting on the legs, and with all asanas, especially with the seated asanas, making sure that our spine is nice and upright and straight, and that we're lifting up towards the ceiling. If you're feeling any uncomfortable sensations in the back, hips, knees, or ankles in any of these positions, then that is when you need to use a prop. So, depending on what you have with you, I will show you by using the meditation cushion for this position. So if we are feeling that uncomfortable feeling in the back where you're feeling like you can't straighten up, you're feeling maybe a little bit hunched, grab your prop, whatever it is that you have, place it underneath the bottom, underneath the sit bones. And we'll just come into the center for now. If we're in the cross-legged variation, crossing the legs, giving ourselves a little bit of room on the cushion, and finding that nice centered spot where you can grow tall through the spine. You can also place some blocks underneath the knees if you feel that that's needed for a little bit of extra support, because we want to be grounded when we're sitting in our seated positions. So if you can go a little bit further, then the cross-legged position, we'll go one foot in front of the other. For this one, we want to be coming forward onto our prop, onto the front edge of the cushion, so that our shins are coming down towards the floor. We want a nice stable base, a triangle base, so that you feel completely steady and comfortable in this position. So again, with the props, this will help if you have any stiffness in the hip sockets or any problems with the knees or the ankles. This spreads the weight nicely between all those three areas and allows you to grow tall. So we'll view this from the other side so that you get a better idea of where the prop is in relation to everything else. So I'll move the cushion back here. So first variation with the ankles, cross-legged position. Sitting in the center of the cushion, growing nice and tall. Second position with the one ankle in front of the other, slightly different. So we're moving forward onto the cushion and releasing the shins down towards the floor. All right. Next position, baddha konasana, butterfly pose. So this one, sitting on the bottom, bringing the heels together, bringing the soles of the feet together, drawing the heels in towards the body and releasing the knees out towards the sides. Again, if the spine and the back muscles are feeling uncomfortable, we're going to raise the hips up. If it's just the knees, we can grab some blocks or some books, place them underneath the knees. Now this is on the lower setting of the blocks. If the hips are not very open, then you may want to place them on the medium level. Having the blocks underneath the knees really helps you release those hips out. Do you think it would potentially prevent you from opening? But when the body feels secure and supported, then those leg muscles will start to open and relax, and you find that you will start to soften a lot quicker than if you left the body without any props. Baddha konasana is also an asana that you can do lying down. Again, that's a really great place to have these blocks as well. That also helps with releasing any tension through the front of the hips, as well as the backs of the hips and the knees. Now again, if the back is tight, you'll want to raise the hips up. With Baddha Konasana, we don't want too much height, because the more height you put, the more pressure there will be on the ankles. So just a little bit of height, a cushion, sofa cushion or a bed pillow is a great one to use for this. So I'll go sideways, placing the cushion underneath the hips, just sit on the front edge of the cushion, bring the soles of the feet together, draw those heels in. And just softening through those hips, through the knees, to the ankles. Right. The next one is a Dayana Virasana, the hero meditation pose. Legs are similar to Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So there's a couple of different ways that you can get into that position. You can either come down onto hands and knees. We'll do right leg back this time. So this has a left and a right side. So drawing the right leg back, bending from the knee, tucking the right knee behind the left, bring the shin down, separating the feet out, keeping the knees together and releasing the hips back down to the mat. So ideally, we want to be sitting, having our bottom sitting on the right heel, hands on top of the left knee, remaining balanced here. Or if that's not 100% comfortable, releasing the right foot out to the side, releasing the bottom down to the ground, left knee and left leg coming over on top of the right knee, hands on top of the knee. Hero meditation pose. Dayana, Virasana. So again, the hips need to be quite open. So if you're feeling uncomfortable and the back is feeling tight, again, a prop is a great thing for this. So another thing you can do with the rolled up mat is have it this way. Sitting the bottom through the middle, giving you some height. Now I'm just showing you the other way to get into this. So we'll place the left leg underneath the right, bring that left knee into the center, right leg, bring it up and over across the left knee, and we want to get these knees lined up together. Right, so from the side, we can start from hands and knees. This time I'll extend my left leg back, extending the left leg back, lifting the left leg up, turning left toes in towards the right side of the mat. Bring that left leg across to the right side of the mat. Bring the left knee in behind the right. Feet opening out. Walking the hands back, releasing the bottom down. And either sitting on top of that left ankle, sitting up tall, or releasing the bottom down between the legs. So sitting nice and tall. If you need the prop, place the prop underneath the bottom. And again with these legs, they can be as close in or as, the shins, they can be as close in or wide apart as you need, depending on your own knees and your own hips. Right, from the back, Because of the position of that particular seated asana, ideally you should be able to sit in that position for quite a long time, hence why it's called Dayana, Virasana, meditation pose, hero meditation pose. So that indicates that you should be able to sustain that position for a reasonable length of time. But really, in any seated position where you are comfortable, stable, you can meditate in it. You can also meditate in the most difficult of yoga asanas, as long as you are steady and comfortable, whether you're in a headstand, whether you're seated on the floor, whether you're in shavasana, lying on your back, whatever it is, as long as your mind is concentrated, your body is aligned, you can do anything. Right, the last one for today is Virasana. So similar to Dayana, Virasana, except what we'll do is we just bring one leg up, one leg down. Easy and comfortable. So you can either be sitting on one heel, or again, you can have the bottom down on the floor, one leg behind the other. Again, left and right side, you can switch. So this is the thinker's or philosopher's pose. And this one, you can use any kind of prop you want, whether it's a cushion or a block, placing that underneath the sit bones, giving you that extra height. So this first variation, shin down, right shin down, left foot on the mat. Show you the other side. One. Left foot coming in behind the right. Right foot behind the left. From the back. All right, so there are a few variations for you, a few different seated asanas for you to try out. variations to try, props to try. And of course, as in with everything with yoga, it's finding the best position for you, the most comfortable position for you, and also working at the level that you're at. So for anyone, but again, just listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, then change. And it's the same with anything in life. So resolutely abide in a good space. Keep this in mind in class, and keep this in mind outside of the yoga mat, in the community, in your workplace, at home. Find a still, comfortable seat. Thank you for joining me today. Hari Om Tat Sat.